Welcome to Days at Dogwood Canyon, a nature podcast brought to you by Dogwood Canyon Audubon Center in Cedar Hill, Texas. This is a podcast that will take you into our 200-acre wildlife preserve in the heart of the DFW Metroplex. Take a quick weekly break with us and get outside with the fresh air, the trees, and of course, the birds. My name is Kiersten and I'm Center Coordinator Community Programs here at Dogwood Canyon Audubon Center. Welcome, listeners, to our Days at Dogwood Canyon podcast. This is a podcast about nature, birds, plants, and us. We will talk about how we all rely on each other to live our best lives. There's nothing more frustrating than looking for something you know is there, but you just can't seem to find it. Take that frustration level and multiply it by 20, and you'll know how the team searching a small Papua New Guinea island for the elusive black-napped pheasant pigeon in the fall of 2022 might have felt. How do you find a pheasant-sized bird on an island of 555 square miles or 1,400 square kilometers covered by rainforest? Well, you ask the locals. That's exactly what an international team of researchers did in the fall of 2022 on Ferguson Island in eastern Papua New Guinea. In the small seaside village of Basima, Gregg, reporter for Audubon magazine, Alimo Malesa, guide and interpreter, and Jordan Boersma, co-leader of the expedition, laid out 25 cards in front of a local indigenous hunter. These cards had pictures of various birds on them, such as the metallic starling, the Goldie's bird of paradise, and the northern cassowary. Some of the pictures were of local birds, while others, like the cassowary, were birds that are not found on the island. They asked the hunter if he'd seen any of the birds on the cards. He pointed to several, saying he'd seen this yesterday or this last week, but he doesn't give the card they so desperately want him to point to a second glance. The card with the black-napped pheasant pigeon on it. Their first hope of finding their target is dashed, but they keep going. They all knew this mission could fail, but John C. Mittermeier is optimistic. As the director of the Search for Lost Birds at American Bird Conservancy and another leader of this expedition, he has to be. It will be an uphill battle, though, as the black-napped pheasant pigeon, or Auwo, as it is known locally, hasn't been seen or heard by scientists for over 100 years. If you were lucky enough to catch a glimpse of the rare bird, you'd see a pheasant-sized bird with wide red eyes, stilted yellow legs, cadmium orange wings, and a long black tent-like tail. The 8-person team pinned their hopes on the indigenous hunters of Ferguson Island. They are the ones that walk all over the island. If anyone had seen this bird, it would be them. They also had no choice but to do so. On Ferguson Island, all the land is owned and controlled by the local population. The foreign researchers would have to get the locals on board with their plan to even be able to search for this lost species. Luckily, the locals were just as interested in finding this long-lost bird as our researchers. The principal of Basima's primary school even got the students involved. He held up a picture of Auwo and told them their homework was to look for this bird. One of the 4th graders told the team that he thinks he's heard the bird, and he talked to his parents. Hope was buoyed again. The researchers focused their month-long efforts on the hunters of the island. They know the island and its wildlife intimately. What the researchers are hoping is that a hunter can lead them to an area where they've seen or heard the black-napped pheasant pigeon. There, they will post camera traps that take motion-activated pictures and video and place ARUs, automated recording units, that will catch the kee-oo call of the missing bird. The first week unfolds with many hunter interviews, leading them to several local bird identifications. These hunters definitely know their birds. It's just not the right bird. During this time, Jason reminds himself that if these hunters know this bird, then it's not truly lost. It's only lost to Western science. We tend to do that in the West, think of things only from our point of view, and forget that indigenous people have a natural history with our research subjects as well. Since they weren't having any luck near Basima, the team decided to travel by boat to the other side of the island's main mountain range and see what might happen there. The relocation brings luck. Here, their interviews gain some traction. A hunter says he caught one in a leg trap in 1997 before logging pushed it deeper into the forest. Then they met a hunter from the Buidoa clan that says he saw the pheasant earlier that year. Could it be? Was this the moment? The group split up to make the most of their remaining time. 2 remained in the village to interview more hunters, while the rest of the group followed the hunter that saw the pheasant. He leads them up the mountain to the place where they may hopefully fulfill their mission. As they weave their way through the forest, they encounter a fruit that the Auwo eats, and after a long slog, they set up their camera traps and then return home. The rest of the team meets them back at camp with good news. 2 more hunters have seen the pheasant pigeon. The next morning, they're up with the sun to follow the new lead. They have 5 days before they leave Ferguson Island, and they don't want to leave empty-handed. This trek brings more than just hope of seeing the black-napped pheasant pigeon. They have documented 7 species not previously documented on Ferguson Island. So that's something. They have to camp overnight before they can carry on the following day, but one of the guides, the leader of the Manawana clan, says Auwo is here. As they wind their way deeper into the forest, they see nothing. Another day wanes with no sighting of their target. They make camp again, and their guide says they must cut it short a day, and they have to head back tomorrow. Hopes are dashed. They will have to leave Ferguson Island without the evidence to prove to scientific journals and the Western world that the black-napped pheasant pigeon still exists. They pack up and retrieve the recently placed camera traps that have only been out for a few days. Some pictures have been taken, so they scroll through the photos with heavy hearts. They scroll, and then freeze. There it is, Auwo, walking carefully under the dappled light of the umbrella ferns. They'd done it. They got photo evidence of the missing pheasant pigeon of Ferguson Island. Cheers and smiles tore through their group, and just in the nick of time. What they didn't know is that another camera trap, one taking video, caught another bird near Basima. This one walking quick-footed with pumping tail. No one on the team saw the birds in person, but the digital evidence they collected was worth all the effort to make sure this bird would not be forgotten in the Western world. In 2022, the Auwo video goes viral, as well as the reaction of the team seeing the picture for the first time. If you'd like to see these videos, I will post a link in the show notes. So what does it mean to have found this long-lost bird? Well, the first step to conservation is documenting a species. We don't know what will happen with the black-napped pheasant pigeon, but knowing it's still out there gives us all hope for their survival and the survival of other species that have also been lost to science.